Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SquashGym PSA Satellite.
Squash XLPRO is an elite team that work hard to train, play and run squash events on our journey to climb the world rankings. Like, subscribe, comment, pick up some of our merch on Teespring.
You are joined by myself, Joel Ascott, and my lovely co-commentator, Rod Bannister, or Rod Nui as we like to call him. But this is a first round encounter. LWAMBA Chileshe in the white, v Allan Bailey in the black and white. Local boy up against PSA Pro. What do you know of Allan?
What I know about Allan? Good to be here. Good to be here, Joel. And haven't seen you for a while, mate. You've been at my home club, obviously. Going about your business for the last week or so with the rest of your squad, and we really enjoyed having you, so it's nice to get in the commentary box with you, mate. What do I know about Allan? I know Allan's A2. He's a bit of a local, what can you call him, I suppose?
Local legend?
Local identity. A local identity, you could say.
Icon?
I wouldn't say icon, but local identity, and quite an unassumable player. He's sort of like a little smiling assassin, you know. Doesn't really do a heck of a lot with the pill. Sorry about that, Allan. A lot with the ball, but he'll run and have a crack, you know. At least for this first set. Plays a lot of squash, mate. He really just plays a lot, hits a lot, plays a lot, and. Look, not the most athletic person in the world, hasn't got the greatest hand skills or hand-eye skills, but he'll plug away, mate, and get the best out of his ability.
Yeah, he seems...
What about Louis, mate?
Well, what's there not to like about Louis at the moment? He's the man in form, isn't he? Recently finished second at the Nationals in a close 5-set with Evan Williams. But at the moment, Louis' game's really come together. Very good hands at the moment in the front of the court, which is something new to his game recently. But just his accuracy is really lifted at the moment, and his squash IQ, as I like to call it.
So what do you mean by squash IQ?
As my good friend Nick Meter would say, court sense is the first thing. But it's just tactical awareness, really, is what I'm trying to get at. Having an idea of where your opponent is at. And sensing the space just like that, you know. And it's just reaction time as well. His reaction volley time, not time, but just the timing of his shot is just through the roof at the moment.
So I suppose the difference, mate, in layman's terms, in that regard, the difference is if we're talking to people that are listening that are lower graded than these guys, you know, if we're talking to sort of like if we dumb it down a bit in layman's terms, that would probably mean you won't win a rally off the first opportunity or first shot. You've got to put a few combinations together to build a rally. Was that sort of what you're talking about?
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Certainly, if you're going to have any progress against Louis, first of all, you got to get it past that reach of his, which we can see now. If you don't, he's very lethal. So that would be the first step. Yeah.
Yeah, he's come out with a real bit between his teeth, hasn't he? So even though we would expect. Joel, even though we would expect for Louis to comfortably get up against Allan, he's not mucking around, is he? He's going about his business. Straight into it, mate.
No prisoners, very professional.
Yeah, very good.
Onto that volley like there's no tomorrow. So there you see Allan with the extended cross court. After whatever the score is now, he's starting to see the light there. But that is how wide it has to be against someone like Louis.
And sorry people, we haven't got any sort of score up, and it's pretty hard or tough at this venue to get a score, but I'd say it would be around about 7-2 in the first set. Or 6-4. Not even close. What's your call, Joel?
Match prediction, 3-love Louis. I think if Allan was to get a significant amount of points, it would probably be in this first set. When he's the freshest and he's got a little less work into his legs. Very hard to win a point against Louis. As we see right now, you have to hit at least 2 or 3 general winners, as people would call them, to really get any inroads.
I'm liking, and obviously there's a difference in ability when it comes to movement, all sorts of stuff when you observe this. But I'm liking how I'm liking how Louis is going around his business. There's absolutely no there's no room, no space for anything really, is when he's hitting balls to good areas. And Allan, I mean, look at even Allan now, he's under the pump, breathing heavily, you know, and we're really just in the back end of the first set. We're going to look 5 minutes, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah. Again, it's just that intensity difference, isn't it? It doesn't have to be super long, but it's how early he's taking the ball and, you know, getting Allan stretching a little bit further than what he's used to into those corners. And that's something that it's quite hard to see when you're playing, watching squash, but playing against it, we all know how it feels.
What I noticed at the Nats by just watching live streaming that job, what I noticed with Louis is that, look, mate, I've watched him over a year or two, you know, from a distance, and like that sort of stuff, massive improvements in taking the ball in and shooting.
Oh, we've seen even in this set right now, what's that, 11-5, and it's probably 6 or 7 of those shots were just outright winners.
Yeah, pretty impressive. So that's a massive difference I've noticed in his game. Going to Coach Duggan, straight to Coach Duggan. Hey, look, Joe, I just want to ask you a few questions, mate, with regards to, look, again, I watch you guys, and I say yourself, obviously Chris van der Sam's part of your crew, Louis, Temwa. So, as far as your squad goes, I mean, at this time of the year, what are you doing with regards to training? Are you sort of backing off a bit now? Or is this just sort of a bit of a run round this weekend? Or, you know, what are you doing over the next month or so?
Yeah, it's a good point. I guess usually the squash season will be kind of pretty much well and truly over by now, or at least slowing up a lot. For us at the moment, not much squash is on the menu. I mean, in terms of easing off physically, not really. I mean, me personally, I love to get into my road cycling, and I like to keep fit.
So I noticed that was a bit of a development over COVID, right? So
yeah.
Over COVID, right?
Yeah, I went hundy. Got all the way up to about 120k at one point in one sitting, which is good fun. But no, at this time of year, I like to really get into that kind of different kind of physical stuff that I don't usually get the opportunity to. So. But everyone's different at the moment. Definitely the Chileshe boys, they love a beach day, love a beer or two on occasion, you know. Classic Kiwi summer really for us this time round.
Now, back to the match at hand. If you were coaching Allan Bailey, what would you say? What would you say, mate? What would you say on a hiding to nothing? And you called it well, actually. Obviously, the first set, you know, the first 3 or 4 points looked half good, right?
Yeah.
But from here on in, it's looking quite brutal. So if you were coaching Allan,
what would you say? If I was honest, I'd say just get the ball past him. To be that simple. Focus on your targets. Don't worry about what he's doing. All you can do is focus on what you can do.
Yep, and you're great.
There you go.
Great. So pull the trigger when you can.
Exactly. He's not indestructible. But you know, don't try and go with him and what he's doing. Focus on what you can do and focus on your targets and then, you know, you'll be surprised, I think.
Yeah, actually really good. I'm noticing a heck of a lot of difference in what he's doing with the ball, Joel. Like I'm saying, Louis, that is, like, look, compared to 12 months ago, a massive amount of different stuff, particularly taking the ball, and look at that. Oh, that's good hands, right? Change of pace.
It's that soft hands and
good areas.
He picked a lot of that up when he went away and over to the UK.
Yeah, great.
And listening to, you know, just filtering down all the information he got from a bunch of coaches and squads over there. It's obviously paid huge dividends now in his swing and in his game. So it's good to see, really, and it's a reoccurring thing. Everyone seems to notice that, so it's good. But definitely, I mean, you can just tell by watching him now. For people that haven't seen him,
he looks confused at the moment.
Well, he's confused right now. Yeah. But yeah, he's certainly not confused in the direction he's taken his game, which is the good thing.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good to see, actually. So if you were playing Louis, mate, and you're giving yourself any sort of chance, what wall would you focus on?
What wall?
Yeah, what wall? Backhand, forehand side. Where would you plug him?
Honestly, probably more. I'm a bit of a backhand specialist, but you can see there, like, whatever, if it's loose, you're screwed. So the first aim is just to get it tight, regardless, whatever the wall it is. Get it past him, get it tight, and then when the opportunity's there, go for it.
Isn't it interesting? Because Allan Bailey's obviously an A-grade player, A2 player, pretty good district player. You know, pretty good district player. Good get by Louis there. Pretty good district player. But it's interesting, even at this level, I've noticed here Allan, and more time pressure too as well. But Allan's sort of his depth is really half service box, so just not good enough, is it, against someone of Louis' quality?
You
just not hitting back ball well enough.
Yeah, you got to get someone like Louis stretching.
Just too short.
Not getting that ball past him, it's going to be a really tough day at the office for you.
Yeah. So what will Louis' goal be here? What will his goal be here? Just focus on what he's doing, keep the pressure on right to the end.
Yeah, I think overall at the moment he's trying to just really enjoy the squash and let his arm go a little bit.
Yep.
And especially in a match like this, you want to get off, but you know, quickly and store some energy, but you just want to play, really.
So let's talk about first round matches for a start too. Can be awkward sometimes, can't they, Joel? You know, the Friday night match, you get to a club, you know, you're not quite familiar with it.
Yep.
You know, guys have been travelling. Obviously, you guys haven't, neither has Allan, but it can be quite challenging, can't they? So if you get an opportunity to get off the court, it's probably a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah, I can definitely visualise a few shocking first rounders I've had in the past. But, I mean, one thing that we've started to do recently, or at least this year, is really try and just get to that club, whatever it is, a day early. You know, as squash players, we try and, you know, cut the budget's pretty thin, so we don't like to pay that extra night. But certainly this year, we've done that a lot. You know, just it's always worth that extra day early just to get that hit in and feel comfortable. But again, there's always that atmosphere, isn't it? You can't replicate having a crowd there. So if you can try and be comfortable on the court, that's the first thing.
Great hands, and Louis finishes that off reasonably comfortably. 11-3 in the second set, so 11-4, sorry mate. Sorry, Mr. Bailey told us 11-4. And so just a continuation really, Joel, from the first set, right? Pretty impressive again. A couple of unforced errors from Louis, but just finished it off nice and easily.
Yeah, still taking that ball in really well and closed it out really well. Be back very shortly. All right, we're back for set 3.
$20 phone.
LWAMBA Chileshe, 2 love up. If you're just joining us, this is the SquashGym PSA satellite. First round here in Palmerston North. I'm joined by Rod Bannister. Well, it's been a reoccurring theme. It's been a reoccurring theme, shall I say, so far in this match. Now I'm going to put it back on you. If you were coaching Allan now, what would you say, Rod?
You wouldn't say too much different, John. Wouldn't say too much different. I mean, you're on a hiding to nothing, right? And probably now Allan's probably feeling a little bit of the old lactic acid building up in the quads and that, you know. A few changes, subtle changes of directions, but they all add up, right? So there's a bit of energy, a bit of filth there from Allan, and he sneaks away a stroke. A bit of the old, what can you I suppose you term that Masters filthy boast, right? Reverse boast. And he sneaks a point. I mean, Louis just puts in a nice one there, feeds one into the front to get it back. Yeah, look, again, Joel, I'd actually say pull the trigger. Any opportunity you get, any opportunity you get, just have a crack. Look,
kitchen sink sort of thing,
that's
isn't
fatigue.
it?
There's real fatigue. What a difference in half a set, right?
Yeah.
And Louis just sort of putting that in there passively now, actually, so giving himself a bit of work. So really just a little bit of conditioning game stuff for Louis, right?
Yeah, just trying to feel his way around the court.
Hitting a few balls. Allan's got 2 left feet at the moment.
It's a little bit off topic. A little bit off topic, but Allan Bailey's calf muscles, okay?
No, you're not off topic.
No, those are genuinely impressive, okay, regardless of the squash level right now.
Actually, never taken any notice of it until you just mention it, but look, mate, I wouldn't think he was a respectfully a Pākehā boy with glasses and a physique like that, with calves like that.
Exactly,
right?
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I mean, that's he looks like he runs 400s in his sleep with those calves.
No, he doesn't. He eats a lot. He loves a feed, Allan, actually. Loves a feed. Most squashies do, right?
He is, those are some serious calves. We're seeing Tim Chileshe on next, Louis' brother.
Wow.
And he's got a big pair of calves.
Great pickup.
But
who do you reckon's got the bigger pair?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's going to be a very It would be a very good contest to see the pair of them on court. I certainly envy a pair of calves with my chicken legs. Not quads, but calves. So I win in that department. But still, business as usual for Louis. 4-1, I think the score is.
Yeah, 4-1 in the third, and obviously 2-love to Louis. He missed that by a country mile, but it's okay.
Yeah, seeing a few more.
Oh, well done, Allan.
A few more variations going on, aren't we?
Yeah.
And he's absolutely. He's the kitchen sink's coming out from Allan at the moment.
Oh yeah, volley, really.
You can just see the fatigue in his legs, eh? It's that chop and change of direction,
yeah, and that's look, and that's just a real lung buster, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. He's battling. See the
I don't
shoulders
think
going
Allan's
up and
really
down.
had a big off season or a big in season, but different level from two, mate. Different level.
Yeah, you can just see the pressure and
Tough
the
ass.
fatigue there.
Again, having said that, and also an A grade player. So look at the difference in levels in A grade, right? Let alone A2, A1.
I mean, people say
difference in levels, right?
people say A2 and A1, and then I say A1 and professional because it's a different ballpark.
Yeah, good call.
And not many people really get to see that in New Zealand. And also training-wise as well, people that train professionally and full-time, it's a different ballpark.
Absolutely. I think Allan's realising that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, great shot. But again, what I'm really impressed about with Louis, mate, of his development, and this is obviously, so that front court game is becoming sort of like as apparent as his depth. So he's not scared to go in. Whereas before, Joel, you'd know this better than I would. Before, he doesn't mind, 14, 15 pills to the back, right?
Yeah, it's definitely one of those comfort things. You see it a lot in sport, but athletes, great shot there.
I mean, and that's what we talked about, right? Pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Just pulled the trigger.
But again, athletes that are comfortable going outside their comfort zone, they're ultimately the ones that are going to be successful. We hear it all the time. I think Alistair McCaw, you probably dealt with him, I don't know, maybe in Australia. But I think one of his famous quotes is, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that applies with Louis in his short game. I know it sounds a little bit crazy. But seriously, that's all it is. It's just forcing yourself to play those shots when you don't really want to, and then eventually it's comfortable. I mean, anyone that's seen Louis play in the last 2 years will just be probably confused almost, just shocked at how far that game has come for him. But that's the honest secret if people want to know it. Can't coach that though.
Can't coach that. Bit of a squeeze and just off the end of the racket. I mean, what you've got to say, and you'd expect this too, right? But, I mean, Bailey hasn't, mate, he's given a good account of himself, right? For a club player, right? A-grade player. Look, every rally he's pushed. Isn't it interesting watching Louis' body language here? It's interesting, when you know you're comfortable in your match and you know you're cruising, but then something like that happens against a player of less ability, and it doesn't take much to wake you up, does it?
Yeah.
You get a bit annoyed with yourself because you set a standard for yourself, and Louis' body language then was like, right, let's just crack back in again.
Yeah, it's that self-awareness, which is actually quite high for Louis. Oh, well, that's a great way to finish the match.
So 11-5, 3-love to Louis Chileshe in the first round tonight of the PSA SquashGym Summer Open against Allan Bailey. Good account Allan gave. Great match, and we roll on to the next one, which is who's playing who, Joel?
Timur Chileshe versus Matt Nation.